Okay, here we are, one more week, and we have a small group this morning. We are discussing the topic of
Part two, religions and traditions.
part two, religion, and it's gonna get more intense this morning. I hope we can finish this topic today. That actually the topic of religion is a big one, and but we can't stay here, forever studying just about religion. We are just getting the basic idea, and and so. But before we start, I would like you to give me a little review of what we studied last week. You were not here last week.
Me?
Yeah?
No.
No, you were not here. So, if you subscribe to my YouTube channel, you can watch the classes there. So,
Okay.
if you're interested, and your dad, your mom. So, I just need a couple people here that can give me a nutshell of what we saw last week. Okay, Gary.
Religion is just a means for humanity to cover up their sins.
Loud, please. I can hear you.
Religion is a means for humanity to cover up their sins.
Okay. Okay, that's perfect. Yeah. Basically, you can put it just in those few words. Religion, what it is, in some way, is the human effort to please God or the gods, and other cultures, uh, to please God because we sin. So, but it's my effort to reach out. That's the idea that you're trying to convey, don't you? Awesome. Thank you, Gary.
Of course.
Okay, one more. What was the thing that actually captured your attention in our previous class? Something that we say that you were actually touched by, or something that actually sounded interesting for you?
I think it was when you said that each religion had like their own messiah. I didn't know.
Well, when I say that,
Well, like,
in quotation
yeah.
marks, because there is only one Mashiach, only one Messiah, Yeshua the Messiah, okay? Even though there's, very close similarities to Jesus and Christianity, very close similarities, of course. Judaism obviously has a different view about that. Messianic Jews, well, is another song. We know that. But when I said that every religion is waiting basically its own Messiah, I'm not saying that there are many Messiahs. Okay, there is only one real and true Messiah, Yeshua, the blessed Master of us, and the others are just waiting. They are hoping that one day a religious leader, is going to appear in the world, and it's going to bring peace, and it's gonna punish the wicked, and it's gonna reward the righteous people. So almost the similar idea. So, but this idea of Mashiach and the concept, the biblical concept of the prophets and the Brit Hashah, the New Testament, is very particular in the Jewish the Jewish idea of Mashiach is very different, okay, and it's very unique also. So, but you're my daughter; it doesn't count. I still need one more, one more, please. I need one more, okay, Nisia.
I like the idea, like how you explain like spirituality. It's like a journey to know God, even though we don't like how spirituality we're trying to know God, but like don't know him, but will get to know him in the next life. I thought it was interesting
Okay.
to explain it that way.
You know, that thought really revolutionized my life, because when I gave my life to Hashem, to God, my life changed dramatically in one night, from being in a dark life and coming to the light was a very emotional for me, the radical change that I had. But I thought that I knew God, and no, we have that vague idea that we know God. We don't know God. We know God. We are in a process of knowing Him, and we use this analogy, remember, of the boyfriend and girlfriend, the marriage. So it's the same. So if we walk and we persist and we seek with all our heart, all our passion, God starts revealing ourselves in different ways, in a deeper way, as we walk with Him. So in that sense, knowing God is a process. It's not just an event of one day, or or you had a religious experience. You were praying and you had this vision, or you heard a voice, and you were like, what? Everybody's sleeping. Who's calling me? And you know that it's something supernatural in the moment. It could be an experience like that, or a different kinds of experience. But it's not about one event in life. It's about persisting, and then we are getting closer and closer and closer, and we are knowing more and more and more and more. So what are we going to be doing when we die? We're going to still knowing and knowing and knowing God for timeless, for eternity. This is the awesomeness of God, the Creator. It's not something. So, okay, great. So, I want to talk today about the paradox of religion. We know, we understand the word paradox, okay? Do we? So a paradox is an apparent contradiction. Okay? For example, the Torah says you shall not kill, but God, in many instances, He killed. It's a paradox. On one hand, God says you shall not kill, and then He kills. Okay, put the example. Okay, if you don't want me to kill, why are you killing? So after all, He's God. So, but what is forbidden to us is to murder. We can kill in self-defense. We can kill in times of war to defend our families, our loved ones. If somebody comes, breaks in my house, and I see an evil guy with a machete,
You have the right to defend yourself.
and I see the machete full of blood, this guy already killed a couple of people on the street. Do you think I'm gonna start begging this person, please, don't harm my kids? No. Well, I live in a ranch. I have guns everywhere. In the kitchen, there are 2 guns. In my bedroom, there is a .30-06 and a shotgun. And in my office, I have another .30-06. So, guns everywhere, because we live in a ranch, obviously. We have mountain lions, we have coyotes, all kinds of coyotes, including human coyotes. So, yeah, I say human coyotes because we live about a mile from the checkpoint of immigration. So, yeah, but God said, not kill. Welcome. God said, you shall not kill, but on the other hand, God says there's a time for everything in life. There's a time for giving life, there's a time for killing, okay? And that is a paradox, okay? It's an apparent contradiction, but it's not a contradiction. So now let me make this parenthesis. Having said this, I'm not saying that you have the right to go out there and start killing, because God says that we can kill, and the problem is not killing but murder. No, I'm not saying that. No. I'm saying that God says that we can kill, not murder. Murder is something evil, but killing is different. And when it's only the last card you have under your sleeve, when it's life of innocence at stake, okay, and you are defending your kids, your family, your loved ones, and even people that you don't know that are going to be victims. If we can avoid to kill the assassin, if we can avoid to kill the murderers, we will. But in many instances, we have a lot of cases in the Bible, and God actually in the book of Exodus says that when somebody breaks inside your property, you know, if it's during the night and your family is in risk, you have to do what you have to do. That's the Bible. So, but we don't want to kill. We better avoid to do that. You know, so I close the parenthesis. So I don't want you to go out there and say, oh, you know, I just learned the class today that I can kill. You know, no, please. So don't say that. If you're interested in this topic, we can actually have a class of this. Okay, that's very, very interesting. About capital punishment, very important. Capital punishment is very, very, very important. Okay, so all these things are very important. But that's a paradox. Something that can actually be that is contradicting itself, but it's not. Yeah. So religion is a paradox because, in one hand, you have religion as a man-made,
Man-made agenda, the man-made means of
man-made tool to calm his conscience, okay, and try to show that he's a righteous person, you know, and he's right with God, and who knows what kind of life this guy has, you know, in private. Maybe he's a pervert, you know, you never know. Maybe he's a good guy, but it's a paradox because religion has produced good people too. Okay, for example, in the Catholic Christian Church, even though that religion has a lots of, and most of what is being reinterpreted of the scriptures is being reinterpreted in the light of their theology. So basically, it's a religion mostly based in human dogmas, you know, regulations, and whatever the Pope says, you know, that is the rule. And but the Catholic Church, the Christian Catholic Church, has produced good people in history, undeniable. So, and here we are not here to put a badge to say that religion is evil and this and this. No. We never do that. Remember, the worst thing you can do with your spirituality is arguing about religion. Never do that. So we don't say we don't mock on other people's because of religion. We don't. There's a lot of religious people there that they think they are the last Coca-Cola in the desert, you know, and they are bragging that, oh, my religion, you know. I mean, it's nonsense. It's nonsense. So, but religion has produced good people, so it's a paradox. Okay, and actually, at the end of the class, we're gonna find out that there is actually a religion that is truthful, the only one.
other than Judaism.
And it's not Christianity, it's not Judaism, it's not Islam, it's not, you name it. Okay. So, but that's going to be at the end.
So are Messianics not the same as Christians, essentially? Like if let's say, because I do sometimes go to a Christian church on Sunday, would I be you know,
Controversial
yeah.
for some? Well, depends. Depends. And it's an excellent question. Okay. Depends, because if you belong to a messianic synagogue like this one, you have the blessing of being in a place where the leadership is well balanced. Okay. I'm going to Seattle, Washington, and Portland, Oregon, the 3rd. Oh, by the way, I won't be here for 3 weeks. Yeah. Yeah, and everybody's like, yeah. Don't do that. But I have my replacement already, and it's a she, okay, and she looks just like me, just put some beard and mustache. It's my daughter. Chaya is going to stay for me, so, and she's an excellent teacher, believe me. Yeah, she came out of the womb of her mom teaching with the Torah. Oh yes. So I'm going to Seattle, Washington. I'm going to be doing some conferences. I'm going to working too for 3 weeks, and all these people that invited me for this conference are churches, Christian churches. They are not synagogues.
So,
And a lot of people will think, why did you go to the Christian church? Well, who am I? Who am I to say that they are evil, or or they are wrong, or they are? Who am I? I could say a lot of things about the Christian church as well about the Messianic movement. But who am I? So if the door is open and they are inviting me, it's because they trust me. And I'll go, and I know that door is open, and I'm going to love my friends and brothers. Christians are brothers to us. We don't judge them. And but this is the way we see it here, okay? Because we are a synagogue or group that we are not judgmental. We don't condemn anybody. Now, if you belong to another messianic, so-called messianic group or congregation or synagogue or whatever, where the leadership believes that Christians is the great prostitute that Revelation talks about, they are the 666, and there's a lot of weird stuff out there. I mean, you can believe whatever you want. It's a free country, okay? So, but if you are under that leadership and they tell you that Christians, you can't have fellowship with them, and so, well, you're in the wrong place, because the only thing they are creating in you is just prejudice, and they are just promoting hatred, between people of faith. So, it depends where you, and what's your mentality. Now, remember, Christianity is very diverse. Mormons, is part of Christendom. It's part of Christianity. Whether evangelicals like it or not, they say, no, they are not Christians. They are a sect. No, they are part of Christendom, because they believe in the Christ. In their own way, but they believe in the Christ. And that's true. They have a lot of issues that are not in the Bible. They teach a lot of stuff that is not in the Torah, But I think always scared me. And Jehovah's Witness, okay, that's true. They interpret the Bible according to their leaders, or they call it prophet, the founder. So we respect that, but they are part of Christendom. Now, if you are going to visit a church or a Christian congregation, well, you actually need to know where you're going, because if you go to a Mormon church, it's different than going to a Pentecostal Christian evangelical church, for example. Okay, so, and you need to use your judgment, obviously. So I don't know if that answered your question.
Well, kinda.
Kinda.
I just meant as like, is in the way that we see the Messiah, any different from the way that we see from the way that they see the Messiah?
Yeah, listen. Obviously, Christianity, medieval Christianity, and modern Christianity, obviously, they have a totally different perspective of the Messiah. Okay. For example, when you see a Bible, a Christian Bible for kids, that Christian Bible, you see the picture of Yeshua, of Jesus, and that Christian Bible, you see Yeshua, he's not covering his head, no kippah, no tzitzit, no talit, no nothing. So Christianity has basically taken the Jewishness of the Messiah away. And that's not good. That's not right. Why? Because, and they say, that Jesus is a Christian pastor. No, he was not. When Yeshua was here, there was not even existed, the so-called church the way we know it today. The way we know it today. So he was a rabbi, and he is a rabbi, the greatest rabbi. Actually, he was in history the first one in being called rabbi. Isn't that something? So, in more than a rabbi, we know that. So, but if I have a Christian friend and he doesn't see Yeshua the way I see it, so this is something that I'm going to use to stop my friendship and loving him? No. It's his perspective, and he's being taught that way. What are you going to do? We have to show our tolerance, our love, our patience. Maybe one day he comes and says, hey, why do you cover your head? Why do you use those little spaghettis? Why do you do this? And there's time to talk, And then, what do you believe? Why do you say the Torah? So, and then it's our turn. We can actually show. We can actually. And the diversity in Christianity is so humongous that when you said the Messiah in Christianity, it's like I said, depends which group you are talking about, because each group sees the Messiah different. For example, Mormonism, and I'm not criticizing Mormonism, but this is the theology of Mormonism. And many Mormons don't know this, okay? Because they go step by step. When you get to certain point in their theology, that is when they teach you this. But in Mormonism, they teach that Yeshua, or the Jesus, the Mormon Jesus, or Jesus Mormon, okay, is the half brother of Satan. Yeah, and this is being recorded and find out. Okay, is the half brother of Satan, and actually, and Satan got angry when the plan of redemption was given to his brother, the Jesus Mormon, or Mormon Jesus. Okay, and he got angry, and that is why he started this rebellion in heaven. Okay, so when the Mormon Jesus comes to earth, is because one of the gods called Elohim descend from heaven. From the planet Kolov, something like that, Kolov, that we haven't found it to this day. And he had sexual relations with a virgin called Miriam, or Mary. Sounds familiar? So, and here, from this sexual relation comes the Mormon Jesus. So now, tell me, where in the Torah is that? Where in the Bible? Where in the prophets? Okay, so one more time, depends when you say, when you talk about the Messiah, depends which branch of Christianity. Jehovah's Witness, they think that the Messiah, the Yeshua, is actually an angel. He was the incarnation of an angel. That he actually, when he rose from the dead, he didn't rise physically. It was an appearance. Where do you see that in the Torah? So, like I said, depends. Depends. Um, yeah, that's an excellent question that I think demands more a longer answer, but it's gonna take us a whole class if we keep talking about this. So, but I don't know if that helps. Yeah. So, and definitely, just let me finish with this. Definitely, the way we see Yeshua is totally different than Christianity. But one thing you have to keep this in mind, okay? Christianity still believes that Yeshua is a divine being, okay? That actually, as the Brit Hadashah of the New Testament says, and even the prophets, that he is an emanation of God himself, so is divine. He's not an angel, he's not just a mere human. He became a Superman, basically. Okay? And that he was born from a woman in a miraculously form. He was introduced to this planet in a way that no other human being was introduced, because it's the Mashiach, Messiah. Everything had to be different for this being. He took a human form. He lived a holy life, and he did what he did for us. Okay, he took our place. He died for our sins. So all of this is taught by the prophets and the apostles, the Shuluchim in the New Testament. So this is the thing that makes us united with Christians. That the main thing of Mashiach is what really matters. So it's not that if he's not with Kippah and the Christian Bible or Tzitziyot, or no. We believe basically almost the same in that area of our faith. We also believe that he came from Hashem, from God. He's divine. He died. He rose from the dead. So if we have that in common, we can get along. Today, you watch a lot of videos that the only thing they do on YouTube is just fragment and divide society. Oh, do you believe in the Greek Jesus or in the Hebrew Yeshua? And these people, what's your contribution in the world creating those videos? Oh, you have to understand the Catholic Church and the Christians, they perverted the Bible. And okay, what's your contribution? You're not contributing. You're not giving anything to humanity. You're just dividing more. If Christianity believes that, it's because this was established in their minds for centuries, and there's nothing I can do. Leave them alone. If Messianics believe that way, leave them alone. And if they're gonna talk, okay, let's talk like civilized human beings. Why do we have to always keep arguing and debating and arguments and So, and you find all these kinds of videos in YouTube that I don't know who makes these videos. A lot of people call themselves rabbis. A lot of people call themselves great teachers. And it's just like a popcorns. Every day you see new videos. I just post in my Facebook. A lot of people say, "Oh, Jesus comes from the word pig in Greek," and it's a bunch of people that don't have any clue what they are talking. They call themselves teachers and great teachers, Illuminati. So they don't have any clue what they are saying. So be very careful what you watch. Okay, let's go back to the class. Thank you. That's an interesting question. And like I said, there is more, but if you have any more questions, we can talk after the class. So, biblical faith, when people ask me, in what religion are you? Well, I'm Jewish, okay? And when I'm hybrid, I'm Hispanic, you know, and so, and when people ask me, so you practice Judaism? And I'm like, well, and it really frustrates me because I don't know how to answer, believe me. People ask me, so yeah, I practice in my home. My home, we practice Judaism, of course, but I don't go to the small congregation that I have, and I don't come here to the synagogue to impose the things that I do.
My beliefs.
Huh?
You don't come here to impose your beliefs.
Exactly. For example, you will never see my head. I'm always covered. Always use my tzitzit, okay? Always, I don't eat just what a lot of people eat, you know? I mean, I have my diet and etc. So, but I don't impose these things. I will be a religious fanatic if I try to impose things. Okay, that is the danger side of religion. When you start imposing, when you become intolerant, when you start pointing people and say, oh, they are wrong, we are right. That is religious fanaticism. You run away from that. The day you hear me saying that here we have the truth and everybody's wrong out there, you run away from here. Don't stay here in this synagogue. Yeah. So, the biblical faith, and people say, well, so are you Christian Jewish? No. So, what are you? And I just say, well, I'm Jewish, but my faith is biblical faith. It's a biblical faith. It's so simple. Just open the Torah, look, absorb, understand, and do it. It's very simple. It's so simple. Okay, and if you don't understand what things you should do and what things you should not do, because these things belong to the priest, this thing belongs to women, this thing belongs to the Jews, but this thing belongs to... Well, ask. And when you have the answer, just do it. Like Nike. Just do it. That's the beauty of being free of a religious ideology that puts you in a shoebox. Okay? There's a lot. That's why this room is not full of youth. It should be full. Because a lot of youth are out there more interested in just doing stupid things, you know. Because maybe they used to go to their churches or congregations or maybe a synagogue. Oh yeah, there's a lot of Jews out there, you know, that they don't want anything with that. Instead of being here, they are there just wasting their lives. You're wise. You don't have any clue how wise you are to be here. You will know 15, 20, 30, 40 years ahead. You will know that. So, it's biblical faith. And yes, and we do some practice of Judaism, of course, because Yeshua was Jewish. Okay, so if he was Muslim, we will be practicing some of the things that Muslims do, but he was not. He was Jewish. So of course we do some Jewish practice, okay, that actually in essence are not Jewish but are biblical. Okay. So let me say this. In these notes that I have here, actually, I decided to take the notes that I had for this class, and I decided to take these 2 pages. Okay. And it's part of my book, my new book that is coming. It's almost out of the oven. It's about 170 something pages. That's my 3rd book, where I discuss all kinds of questions that I had when I was youth. It's not something. You must have the book. I discuss questions from sex, biblical intimacy, biblical sex. It's important for you guys when you get married. you're gonna get married. So you can't get to the marriage and just knowing nothing about that issue. You need to sit and talk to your dad and mom and talk about it in a healthy manner. Oh yes. Yes. You need to ask questions. The healthy and the holy and the sacred, I'm talking about intimate sex. Okay? I'm not talking about the garbage that is portrayed everywhere in the media. And so you need to know that. Why? Because otherwise, you're gonna be brainwashed by all the garbage that is out there. Yeah. Sit with your dad and mom and say, talk, and have a healthy, holy, sacred conversation with your dad and mom. Don't be scared. We are a different generation. My mom and my dad, they would have never talked to me about that. So that was a different generation. So, so I had these two pages from my book, and I discussed a little bit about religion, and I wrote. I will be mostly reading, okay? Even though I wrote this book, I don't remember everything I'm gonna be reading. Okay? Religious actually is in Hebrew and Spanish. My notes here, I'm gonna try to translate to English. So if I made a mistake, please be patient with me, okay? So, we are told that there are three main monotheist religions. How many of you know what monotheism is? Do I have to write it? I don't think so. Okay. Monotheism. Okay. Monotheism is a very fancy word, just to describe the belief in one God. Okay. The belief in one God. Monotheism. Polytheism. Poly means many in Greek. Okay. The belief in many gods. So we are monotheists. We believe in one God, in one creator. One God that created one universe, one planet Earth, one man. From that man, the couple, one couple, one family, one chosen people, the people of Israel, that now he chooses the whole humanity through what Yeshua did for humanity. Now it's one humanity for God. He's recovering his creatures now through what Yeshua the Messiah did. So it's one God. We believe in one God. So monotheism is the belief in one God. And we are told that by historians that there are three main monotheist religions. Can you mention the three of them? Or one of them?
One.
Well, the first one we know.
Judaism.
And
Christianity and
Christianity,
and
Catholicism.
yeah.
No, Catholicism is part of Christianity. Or Christendom. And Islam. Okay? Islam, they preach that there is only one God. Well, they have their own ideas about God, So, as well Christianity. But these are the three main monotheist religions in the planet. And the two last ones, Christianity and Islam, actually come from Judaism. It's Judaism, and then Christianity comes out, and from these two, Islam pops up in the 6th century. So basically, it's a new religion. Islam is a new religion. The 14th centuries, 13th centuries. If you compare Judaism, about 4,000 years, maybe more. So, when these religions, three religions, okay, particularly the two last ones, they, let me use the word divorce from the foundation of the biblical Hebrew faith, or the biblical Hebrew understanding. When one of these three religions go astray from the Hebrew original understanding of the revelation of God, the Torah, the Bible, when they turn away from the Bible, these three religions actually can become or can stop being monotheist, and they turn mono-Satanism. Oh yeah. Yeah. So if you go to the book of Yaakov, alias James, chapter 2, verse 19, let's go there. If you bring, how many of you brought your Torah?
Do it for me, please. Can you do it for me? I'm also ready.
James or Yaakov, more properly. Chapter 2, verse 19. Look what we found here. Chapter 2, verse 19.
What was it? James.
Make sure that
Yeah, it's still recording.
okay. Um,
Chapter what?
2 verse 18 and 19. But someone will say that you have faith and I have actions or works. Show me this faith of yours without the actions, and I will show you my faith by my actions. So you believe that God is one? Monotheism. They believe in one God. Okay? And this is taken from the Shema. Shema Israel, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Oh, hear Israel, Adonai, our God, Adonai is one and unique. Okay? The word one in Hebrew here means unique also. He's unique. So, do you believe God is one? It's a question. Good for you. I mean, so what, basically? Okay? You find millions of people believing in God out there. Have you? I just heard about this guy that was killed, not murdered, killed by the justice of the state of Oklahoma. A guy that grabbed his own daughter. Okay? And I don't know what's your idea of capital punishment. We can talk in another time about that. This guy, he was playing like a kid. Okay? And he was so absorbed by the game that his daughter of 9 months started crying and crying and crying. She needed a diaper, or she was hungry. I don't know. A beautiful little creature, 9 months old. The guy stood up, threw his game, and he grabbed his own daughter. This was on Fox News just a few days ago. And he grabbed this little creature, and he bent this little creature and broke the spine cord. And he asphyxiated this little girl. And then he just threw her like an object, like a piece of rag or something. Okay. So tell me, what a guy like that deserve?
Death.
Yeah.
That's what the Torah teaches. That's justice. That's justice. Oh, but you know how many years this guy lived after he committed this crime? So when he committed this crime was 20 years ago. But the justice in the United States of America and many countries of the world is getting so ridiculous and so devilish that now justice is not in the hands of judges. That justice is in the hands of psychiatric clinics and psychologists. Oh, this old man was traumatized. That is why he's not functioning properly. He's and he lived for 20 years. But thank God, Baruch Hashem, that there was a judge that appeared on the scene, reviewed the case, and said, "This is a monster." You know what this guy said at the end? This guy said, "Oh, thank you, because now I'm going with my creator. I go with God forever. I'm going to believe in peace." This is what he said before he had, I think was the lethal injection. I don't know. And poor guy, yes, poor guy. But how do you replace that beautiful, innocent life? So, a lot of people believe in God. So what is what the Bible says? You don't convince God with believing. It's not about believing, it's about doing what you believe. Get it? It's about projecting the divine presence in us wherever we go. Yes, we make mistakes, because we are humans. But at least we are in the process of
Learning.
sad. Eh? You're crying. Oh. Yeah, it's sad. I almost cried when I watched that. It's horrible. It's horrible. And the guy said, "I go with God because he believed in God."
That girl would have been like 20, around 20, 21 years if she
Yeah,
would have been.
about your age or something. Yeah. So the Torah says, you believe that God is one because you're a religious person. Good for you. Or so what? Yeah. And look at what it says. I don't know if you are there in your Torah. It says, the Shedim or the demons believe it too. So the demons also believe that God is one. The thought makes them shudder with fear. So you believe in God, you believe that God is one, so what? Also the demons believe that God is one, so what? And they are scared to death, but they also believe. So in other words, even the demons, the Shedim, believe that there is one God. A paradox, another paradox. So when you talk to people, and do you believe in God? Oh yes, I believe in God. And what do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? And we're gonna find out what actually means to believe in God in a moment. So when you look at history, you see particularly the last two, Christianity and Islam. Look at history and you see these two religions fighting for the power to establish their own ideology, whether it was Asia, Europe, the Inquisitions. Have you heard about the Inquisition? Okay, well, there were two Inquisitions, no one. Okay, where hundreds of thousands of people, I don't know, maybe millions, were just burned because they didn't believe what the Catholic Christian Church believed back then. You know that the last person that was actually tortured and killed in the American continent by the Inquisition was at the end of the 17th century, the beginning of the 18th century. The Inquisition was abolished already. Yeah. So we have Islam. And we have seen what the orthodoxy or some of the radicals, fanatics of that religion have done. Some of you were not alive when September 11th hit us. When I was in Portland, Oregon, I remember the whole country stopped. The whole country stopped. I didn't go to work for 3 days. The streets were full of people just shouting, USA, USA, we want revenge, we want revenge. More than 2,000 people killed in the Twin Towers, other hundreds in the Pentagon, other, in the other airplane that, and even though there is a lot of conspiracy theories, who was behind that, And the first one to blame is the Jews. Oh, the Jews! Remember, we are the ones responsible for everything. Your grandma got flu. Oh, it's the Jews, because the Jews. Yeah, we are to blame for everything. It's crazy. So, a lot of, oh, President Bush, he was behind the, because he was the president back then. Bush Walker, the Jr. So we don't know, and I don't want to know. But the thing is that Islam was behind. Okay, so and when you see this, when you see a religion that preaches that it's only one God, and this religion moves away from the main values that the Torah teaches, the love for our neighbor, the main principle. What's the main principle of the whole Bible? The main principle where all the moral principles emanates, and our responsibility toward our a fellow human being. The main principle. You should know it by memory now. "V'ahavta l'recha kamocha." And you shall love your neighbor as yourself. It's the main principle. And think about this. In Hebrew, the emphasis of the love falls in the neighbor, not in you. When people say, oh, I have to love myself first in order to love my neighbor. No, it's the other way around. You have to love your neighbor first, because love is not a feeling, it's an action. And when you love your neighbor is a mirror. You are loving yourself.
Hi, Mel.
Everybody say that, please. Okay, thank you. Well, it's a new thing. You were not here last week. Now you know.
It's hot in here, y'all. aren't
Thank
hot?
you, thank you. This was your idea. This was your idea. No, leave it like that. So, okay. So where are we now? We got unplugged.
Religion.
So yeah, when a religion, Gary.
We're on the topic of loving.
Yes. Yes. Okay. So when a group or a religion promotes the opposite of loving your fellow human being as yourself, and promotes violence and promotes bully the other religions, and promotes mocking in other religions, that religion, I don't care if they believe in one God, that religion's moved from their monotheism to mono-Satanism. Because only a human being can actually perform such of inhuman and human acts when it's under the influence of dark forces. So I don't care. The Torah says, I don't care if you believe in one God. So what? The demons, Satan also believe in one God. It's not about believing in one God. It's about being united with this one God, and through the union of me and God, actually, I can project the love of God. I can do things for others that people will see that I'm under a totally different influence. The influence of the light, the influence of God.
So it's not just like believing in him, instead of like you need to act like he intended to.
Say again.
Sorry?
Repeat again.
Like it's not just to believe in him, but instead to act like he intended.
Exactly. You know what was the main task of Adam and Chava, our first fathers? Oh, by the way, that modern science is telling us that we, all humans, come from one individual. Well, we knew this, the Torah teaches this for 4,000 years. So what? There's 4,000 years behind you, or something. The main task of Adam was to reveal God on earth. And he failed. That is why Paul in Corinthians says that the last Adam is another name for Yeshua the Messiah. The last Adam had to come from heaven, okay, to restore humanity. Now through the union, when we unite to this last Adam, this Messiah that became human being, by this union with him, I can supernaturally be changed. And the process of my life being renewed starts. Okay? And this is what the Torah calls being born from above, or being born again. The processes start. So now you can somehow taste and understand, and obviously not in a deepest level, but we can understand now what is the purpose of life. What's the meaning of life? What's the meaning of life? Well, we talked about that the other day, remember? One of the things that give meaning to my life is that if I consecrate my life to good, to what is right, to study, to absorb, to wherever I go, I will be reflecting or projecting the presence of God. I don't know if you have been in places where Walmart or whatever on the street, and the bus stop, and people that you don't know look at you, and they look at you, and they look at you, and they look at you, and you're like, what's this guy looking at me? And then this person comes and says, excuse me, can I ask you a question? And the question they ask me, are you religious, or do you believe in God? Or have you ever had that experience, or similar? Have you ever had similar questions? Well, it's time for you to have that kind of experience. The way you dress, you send a message. The way you talk, the way your body language, we project God, and people notice that you are different. That's the idea of being a believer, is to project, to reveal God to others. The only God that people will see is the God that I will reveal to others. The God that you will reveal to others. The God with your behavior, with your words, with your life, with your everything. So, yeah, there were times when Christianity was in the medieval times, those times actually were called the Dark Ages. Have you heard about that?
Yes.
The Dark Ages. Why? Because those ages were dark.
Exactly.
Okay.
They were
If you were left-handed, the Catholic Christian Church says, he's the son of the devil. Got the left. You are left-handed.
No.
No? Gary?
I use both hands.
Oh my, cut both. You're ambidextrous. Cut both hands. No, I mean, think about that. So, yeah, if you were left-handed, you cut off the hand. If you have some issues where you were born a certain way, or son of the devil. Yes.
I remember, I learned this from a video, is that back then, Caesars were seen as like being possessed by the devil, so they usually put them in like hospitals or killed them.
Oh.
Wow. And hospitals, actually, in Europe,
Yeah.
and hospitals were actually created by Christian Europeans, but the Christian was Catholics, okay? Mostly Catholics. Later on, the reformers, the Protestant evangelicals came out, but that's an excellent point. Yeah, I mean, if you suffer something that, I mean, do you know why we have this? Have you seen those barber shops? They have this blue-red thing. Okay. Do you know where that thing comes from? Comes from the medieval doctors in Europe, Catholic Christian doctors, that they believe that they dress white, you know. They believe that after performing a surgery, they didn't wash their hands. They just clean their blood and the white robes so that they can go outside, and they go to the market so that people can see how professionals they are. Look at how much blood I have in my yeah, I'm not kidding you.
Definitely will make somebody
Yeah,
suspicious.
and this is one of the reasons why Europe went through so many plagues, the bubonic plagues, the black plagues. I mean that millions of people, almost half of the population of Europe disappeared. Oh, but they were so professional, you know. And they got this blue, red thing, and it's what the barbiturates have today, is to remind us that we were so sophisticated, so intelligent back then. No, we were like intelligent animals, not so intelligent. So these were the dark ages where all kinds of crazy things happen.
And if I may add, they had all sorts of crazy tortures, if it's true.
Yeah, witches. You know, they were persecuted and killed. And I disagree with witches, you know, but I'm not gonna kill a witch. So, but that was the Dark Ages. So here we have a religion that preaches monotheism
In an environment way.
and switch to what?
Monosatanism?
Monosatanism. Thank God the Catholic Christian Church is, we can use the word civilized now,
Yeah.
okay? And Islam is coming back, you know. We talked about Islam last time, that Islam was born with the sword. Convert or die, convert or die. So they are basically using a strategy that is not something new. They have done this. They actually, Islam was born that way, as a violent religion. Okay, there are nice Muslims, beautiful Muslims. Oh yes, I have Muslim friends. They are very, very nice people. You know, I'm not saying that all Muslims are bad guys. No, I'm not saying that. So, but here we have these two religions that abandon the principles and the moral and the ethical values, and they stopped being monotheists and they became monosatanists because they were doing the works of Satan. Am I explaining myself? Yes or not?
Yeah.
So, and this is not about any religion, but individuals. If you know people that they are your friends, and you respect them, I mean, they belong to another religion, okay? And you respect them, you love them, you are there for them, okay? And they start mocking you and your belief. And they start getting aggressive, and they start bullying you, and they start. So now tell me. And they believe in one God. You can see them very close, about to cross the line from their belief in one God to monosatanism. And when I say Satanism, I know that in your mind is, you know, the old lady with a huge cone, you know, and big nose and with a broom, you know, flying on the broom. And no, there are different levels that people operate under the influence of this dark force. Not necessarily being, well, I don't practice, I don't celebrate Halloween. Okay, good for you. but this person hates others, is totally intolerant, is a bully. That person thinks that she or he is right in regards of faith, and everybody is wrong. And because that, I have to try to kick them out from my job, and things like that. So what? If you believe in God, so what? If you don't celebrate Halloween, so what? But you're still involved under practicing something that is wrong under the influence of this dark force called Satan. Am I explaining myself? So we have to be very careful. Believe me. Believe me, because fanaticism is like moist. Religiosity is like moist. It gets through your soul and you don't even notice. Oh my goodness. And all of a sudden you find yourself criticizing others, pointing others, judging others. At that point you are very close to that boundary, to that line. Spirituality does the opposite. Spirituality builds your soul. You feel compassion for people that have wrong ideologies. You don't argue. You just love them. Yeah. So that's the big difference. So, are they finished?
I think so. It's about to be one.
Huh?
It's about to be one.
So, okay, let me finish with this. Let's go to the same book of Jacob. We're going to finish with a thought in this verse. Book of Jacob, Elias James, chapter 1, and I want to give you the verses in a moment, okay? So, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions before we finish. What's the purpose of religion? If God is one.
I would answer, but I'd let them answer.
Why so many religions? Okay? If all religions, take us to God, why all religions are different in origin, in doctrine, in practice? Okay? If religion is so important, why the word religion doesn't appear on the Bible? Yes.
Because people's perspective.
People's perspective, yes, but you'll find out that most religions is because I disagree with you, you are wrong, I'm right. Very simple. And because I'm right, you have to submit. If you don't submit, well, I'm going to start a holy war. Holy war, Crusaders. Yeah. So to understand this, I'm going to give you just, I want you to take this, okay? We're going to examine real quick, and we're going to finish with that. We're going to examine real quick the word religion, and then we're going to go to that verse, and we finish. The word religion doesn't exist in the Bible, first of all, okay? It doesn't exist in the Bible. That means that God is not interested in religion. If He's interested in religion, He will put this word 1,000 times, or 100 times, or 20 times, or 10 times at least. But it's not in the Bible, okay? Appears in the New Testament, but in a tricky way. And it's only 2 or 3 times. But in the Hebrew Tanakh, or the so-called Old Testament, it doesn't appear, okay? So, actually the word comes from the Latin, from religio, or religio, yeah? And is formed by the prefix re, or re, then another verb that is ligare, where we take the word in Spanish ligar or amarrar. We all speak Spanish here. To bound, to tie. Okay? And then the suffix or the last part of the word means action or effect. So in other words, the word religion, look at what it means. Religion means action or effect, to be bound or tied very strong to God. Think about it. So that's what the word religion actually means from the Latin. because it's not a Hebrew word, it's not in the Bible. So is the action or the effect of being tied or bound. Okay, if you are writing something there, just leave the paper alone. We're almost done. So, okay, is the action or effect of what?
Being bound.
To tie.
To tie. So the idea of religion, in other words, is to tie myself. I'm gonna grab this rope and I'm gonna bound with God. That's the idea of the word religion. All right. So now, like I said, it's not in the Tanakh or the Old Testament, the word, but in the New Testament appears because the New Testament was written mostly in Greek. Okay? And there are 3 words. You don't have to write them down. If you want, that's fine. I'm not gonna use the board this time because we are almost done. There are 3 words that appear that actually 2 of them are the same but in different use. The word treskeia, the word treskos, and the word desidaimon. These 3 words are used, can be translated as religion from the Greek in the New Testament only. 3 times. 3 times. Okay. So, interestingly, these terms are associated with everything that is outwardly. They are never associated with things that are inwardly. See? So, one more time, religion is the effort of man trying to please God through outwardly things. Have you seen people going on their knees, and touching things and putting water and, and doing things and lashing themselves and, okay, doing outwardly things, okay? Spirituality is not something outwardly, it's something inwardly that projects outwardly eventually, but it's inside out. Religion is outside trying to change your inside. It's impossible. Yeah. So we have a verse, chapter 17 of the book of Acts. Verse 2, just write it down, read it home. Here in this book of Acts, chapter 17, verse 2. This passage talks about people that were religious, okay? But it's not something that the word used here for religious, the sidaimon in Greek, when the Bible says that these people were very religious, you know what it means actually? Extremely superstitious.
Oh.
So that's the word. That's one of the meanings of this word religious that appear scarcely in the New Testament, in the Brit Hadashah. So in this, if we understand what we are saying here in this point, we can see that the word religion, that actually means, remember what the word religion means? The action or the effect of being what? Tied to God. Okay. So here, in this passage, the word religion then means the action or the effect of being tied or bounded to superstition and ignorance. Oh wow. So that is why you see a lot of people out there very religious and very superstitious, believing things and doing things that God never commanded, that God never talked about. It's just outward. So, but because the time is on our backs already, let me finish with this, okay? I had to skip some of my notes, but even though we have said, a lot of bad things about religion, some good things about religion, but I promise you to let you know that there is actually a one religion that is accepted by God. Okay, and this religion is something that it has to emanate from a heart that has actually been changed by God first. And let's go to the passage I gave you in the book of Yaakov, chapter 1, verse 26 through 27, please. Interestingly, this religion is not interested in membership and dogmas and creeds and ideologies, and there is no human being that can actually regulate this religion. Okay, there's no human being that can actually inspect this religion or alter this religion. This religion actually is not in the numbers or statistics as another religious group. This religion doesn't divide families. Can you stop playing with that paper? Charles? And I don't know if you guys are interested in knowing what religion is.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, thank you. So can somebody read that verse for me, please? Can you close the door? We're finished. Can somebody read that verse, please? The one I gave you, Jacob or James, chapter 1, verse 26 through 27. Yeah, we are done. Just loud, please, Inicia.
If anyone among you thinks he is religious and does not bridle his tongue but deceives his own heart, this one's religion is useless. Pure and undefiled religion before God and the Father is this: to visit orphans and widows in their trouble and to keep oneself unspotted from the world.
Mm-hmm. So that's it. It's very simple. Anyone who thinks he is religiously, this is the only time the word religious is used in a good sense. The only time. If anyone thinks that is religiously observant but doesn't control his tongue, deceiving himself. Look, there is one requirement: tongue. And his observance counts for nothing. The religious observance that God the Father considered pure and faultless is this: to care of the orphans, widows, and you can add the homeless, the fatherless, you can add to the list. Yeah? Defenseless, the people that are being persecuted by their faith. People are starving, children, homeless children. This is the true religion, to care of the defenseless. And to keep oneself from being contaminated by the world. That last phrase, we can elaborate more maybe in another time, but simply means don't let the material and the world things, the dark things absorb you, because the main thing that makes our lives outside of the mission that God gave us is to accept all this world of distractions once we come out from this room. The only thing that can actually make your life worthless, honestly, is to embrace all this world of distractions that are waiting for us out there. So this is the true religion. Very simple. Very simple. So there's more to talk, but I think it's time to close. Thank you. Thank you again.